Ariel comes out of the gate swinging right away.
Oh, snap!
All agents are currently assisting other customers. Please stay on the line and your call will be answered shortly.
Hi?
It's not your time, Bradwood Warner.
Yeah.
You're a Tyran, Spock. You could never be a true Vulcan. That is not true.
That was cool.
Sorry about that.
I miss my wife.
Today's Nerd Fights was brought to you by the super secret Ferogan video game project. Oh, really? This is a real thing. This is actual footage. I don't know why either. And also by these guys, because I guess for some reason they want to support Salty. Those sons of bitch.
Computer and program?
Yes. And Danny is busy putting away his personal massager. Shouldn't have that out while we're doing the show, Danny.
I was trying to finish on time, man. It ain't easy being single. Here's some ASMR for Ariel.
Oh, okay.
An unboxing.
Oh my God! We can talk about the very short trek. Did you see the Christmas one with Hemmer and Spock? Where Spock was
I didn't get a chance to.
You
watch
didn't.
it.
Oh my God! It was hilarious.
You know what we're gonna have to do is how many? Does anybody know how many episodes the short trek, the very short trek? Because there's short treks, And now there's very short tracks.
Very short tracks.
Which
I
is
don't
a
know,
different
man.
thing.
This shit just pops up in my feed.
Well, they mentioned it in the Star Trek Day thing. They said that they were doing this series of very short tracks, but they didn't say how many very short tracks there were going to be.
So neither of you have seen this one I'm talking about.
No, I've seen it.
I have not. Okay. I had such a
Mark Henson in the
crammed,
chat says there's going to be 5.
I had such a crammed packed day. I never actually watched the actual episode of Lower Decks until I finished it 10 minutes before we started.
Yeah. So what I would say is what we should do with the very short tracks is we'll save them and just do them all at once. Because all 5 together makes up about one episode of
Lower
any of the
Decks,
animated
basically.
shows.
Yeah.
You know, I will say this though, because I found the new one and I just started it for a second to see if they kept it up. The thing I liked from watching the first one, and they're doing it again, they even have the fake lack of good speed control on the audio track.
Yeah.
Well, and all the eyes, you know, the way the eyes are.
Oh yeah, but I mean, just all these little affectations.
Yeah.
That I don't know, Danny, if you're just a couple years enough ahead or younger that you didn't encounter this at school, but we would get like the old reel-to-reel movie time tape thing with the audio cassette that you slapped in the side and it'd be like the health video or whatever where something would play and oh yeah, it was exactly that, like that same kind of sound. So it just my short tracks, very short tracks.
Yeah, Bird says his short tracks are better than very short tracks. Bird's short tracks, if you haven't seen them, are pretty funny. And I would, I would love to do a series like that. That's like a completely unauthorized version of very short tracks. The problem is that there'd be so much work involved. It would need to have a team of people. You need to have at least a couple of voice actors. You need to have at least 1 or 2 people just dedicated to animation and nothing else.
Man, there's smoke and fire. Ariel's just lit tonight. Holy.
No, you're lit. That's the problem. You're just up there causing all sorts of trouble.
No,
apparently,
I'm getting
Ariel,
ready for trouble.
Apparently, Jason tried to start a fight at the store today.
No, I wanted to. No, man, this is just everything's getting just. So apparently, there's a fire, and I'm starting fights at stores. When the reality is, I wanted to smack someone at work, and I'm getting ready for the hurricane that's coming.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so you were picking a fight at work?
No, I wanted to smack
this is
somebody.
The most difficult part of trying to quit. Like, I got to get a better vape. This vape is just not consistent.
Or you should not vape.
I know, man, but if I don't vape, I'll just go back to smoking cigarettes because I need it. Or maybe I should try the gum. I don't know, man. Like,
why do you need to smoke?
I'm addicted to nicotine. This is a thing. That's why I said maybe.
But you know what? You were addicted to alcohol. You were addicted to drugs, and you're not doing either now. So you can beat nicotine.
Yeah,
and I know nicotine is considered a tougher addiction for too many.
There's a problem with the nicotine addiction, though. And half the reason why people use vape to get off is
sorry, not to interrupt you, but somebody put it. I freaking love Star Trek Continues. I would love to review every episode. I love the final.
That would bring out true nerd fights in the show because I think it's garbage.
Dude, yeah, because you think it's garbage? Oh my God, I love it. Oh my God, that's horrible.
I watched the last episode of it just to watch it, like the one where the Enterprise is nearly destroyed, and they take it back to space dock, and and Kirk
they get the refit, and they're wearing, and he gets
Kirk gets the promotion to admiral, and it's such crap. The writing and the acting is so bad.
I like little things like
the only thing that's good about it is the visual effects and the set building, and honestly, some of the guest stars do well, but the actual cast is absolute third-rate garbage.
I disagree. Fuck, they use Scotty's son to play Scotty.
I don't care who
James Doohan's real life
matter.
See, Brian, I'm glad you brought that up. We got to do this next time.
That's why I say, I have a Chihuahua.
This will be
a Mexican
fights,
citizen. Who cares that they have Scotty's son? That doesn't mean he can act.
Yeah, you're just.
And it certainly doesn't mean they have a good writer or director.
One, it's fan made. So it's
exactly, and fan made means crap most of the time.
Ah, man, I don't know. I liked it. I like the. For example,
oh my gosh,
they put in a line of dialogue. Where
granted, you actually like season 3 of Picard, so that's part of your problem.
I loved season 3 of Picard,
right?
Man.
So just to sort of put it in context, Jason, have you seen?
Okay,
the
so
last
you didn't like
Star Trek
you didn't like season 3 of Picard. You're on
hold on a second.
I'm going to say that you did not like. Don't wait for the translation. Answer me now.
What am I not? What am I?
Have you
don't
seen
know
the last episode of Star Trek Continues?
What is Star Trek Continues?
He doesn't even know what it is.
So that's fine. It's a fanfic Star Trek show.
But
wait a minute. Is this the one that's up on YouTube?
It is on YouTube.
I don't know if I hope it's still on YouTube. I ran into these guys at a convention a long time ago, like really long time ago. My kid was little. And he's 25 now, and he got to talk to William. It's all
SVS Guru 2000 with a €5 super chat.
Super chat.
See, Star Trek Aurora, I have not seen. I wouldn't even know where to go see that. Have you?
And look at you got Marilyn Monroe, the queen of beauty there,
and it's all done in the ye oldie style, right?
Yeah, it's done this.
Yeah, dude. Okay, you're just
okay. No, I know exactly.
It.
I've never watched a single bit of it, but I know exactly which one you're talking about.
So, in the last episode of Star Trek, and by the way, thank you again, SVS Guru. I truly appreciate it. I haven't seen Star Trek Aurora, so I can't comment on it.
Yeah, I've never even heard of it. That's cool.
But as far as in the last episode of Star Trek Continues, this is how fan fiction-y it's written. They bring back the Romulan commander from Balance of Terror, from the Enterprise incident, the female Romulan commander, right? And she's going up against, and she's going up against Tall, her first officer from that same episode, who's in charge of a Romulan ship. And they're doing everything as a freaking member berry. Everything is a reference to another episode of
It's a fucking fan film. Everything's going to be member berries.
Exactly. Man. It's a fan film, just like Picard season 3. It's just a freaking fan film.
That's why I like Picard season 3, and that's why I like Star Trek.
And that's why I didn't like Picard season 3. Because Picard season 3 was crap writing.
Which is hilarious because they literally walk into a room of member berries in the episode we're going to talk about tonight.
Right. But I love that.
And yet we all enjoyed this.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I'm going to sound like Salty. If you're talking about the lower
in
decks
fact, they had the best member
memberberry
berry in that one. Which
oh my God. See, but you don't like Picard season 3. You lack consistency.
Brother. No, I don't, because this is making.
I call bullshit. I'm sorry.
Things.
No, I'm like.
It's completely different if you are showing it and you're making fun of it. It's a very different thing.
Okay, so you're saying
if it's in the context of a parody versus
the parody aspect, or comedy,
that changes it. Yeah, I shouldn't say parody as much as comedy, because now that now that it's considered canon, you can't really call it parody. It's comedy.
So it's comedy, slapstick Star Trek.
But yeah, it's comedy.
So member berries in slapstick Star Trek are okay. Member berries
when they're played for laughs. Member berries when they're supposed to seriously make you feel, ooh, look, it's that thing. Ooh, look, it's that thing. The fact that in some random room on the Cerritos is all these particular artifacts is hilarious. Why would Nomad and the probe and the probe that put the lifetime of memories in Picard's head and the Alamarain game and all those things be on the Cerritos in the
That
first
had to
place?
be the worst, one of the worst episodes of Deep Space Nine. And not only do they just do the member berry of it,
I
what's his
think it's
name?
one of the
The
best
cyborg guy
episodes of
has to
Deep
go
Space
through the
Nine.
damn thing.
I
you
will
know?
take that to the mat. That I think
Oh.
that Move Along Home is
All right,
a
then.
great episode of Deep Space Nine.
Hot take. It sounds like you're doing yours anyway. Go large. Give us your hot take on this one.
We'll see whichever one makes go large. Oh, looks like Jason's first.
I'm here.
Well, you were the one that was all heated. I don't know.
I actually really enjoyed the original series cartoon, and I very much had a blast with Lower Decks. And of course, I'm coming off just having watched it now only 25 minutes ago. So I'm super fresh. And all I know is I'm sitting here. Here's my hot take for that episode. Just close the doors and don't let the ferret out. And wait for the nitrogen to kill the ferret.
Right?
I'm just like, what's the problem? You're in the solution right here. Let's go.
Yeah. But you enjoyed it.
I very much enjoyed. I was really surprised at how much I enjoyed that episode of the Yesteryear episode. It was. I found it was a big step up from the first episode of the animated series.
Oh yeah,
and Lower Decks. Yeah, I mean, for me, I've yet to find a Lower Decks episode, even though I haven't watched them all, that I don't like. So
I know I really need to get.
All right, so I will say this. Yes, I really enjoyed this episode. It's funny because the A plot was more the B plot to me, because I just wanted more of the stuff of the B plot with them rummaging through the stuff. Rutherford playing Move Along Home was absolute gold to me. The whole montage of them trying to fix things was great. I thought it was a fun episode. And by the way, once again, contrary to what people thought of the show when it first started, Boimler is maturing into quite the officer. It's just that he lacks confidence. Yeah. And so, which I love the fact that, and other officers, like, I can't remember her name, but the Vulcan chick, recognize that Boimler is an excellent officer. So it's not that, he's just the guy that screws everything up like he kind of was in the beginning.
Yeah. Again, if I could highlight things, a question was asked of Jason. I don't think he saw it.
Oh.
And I hate ignoring the chat. So
where is it?
Mark Hansen
Jason
asked,
hates
was this
animals.
the first time you saw Yesteryear?
Yes,
oh yeah,
the first time you saw Yesteryear was this last Saturday.
Yeah, functionally speaking,
we've seen it before.
Yeah.
Even if I saw an episode of the animated series, for all that it matters, every one of these is going to be like a first run for me.
Right.
Because the last time I would have seen these, it would have been like 82, 81.
Right.
So,
but yeah, I had a blast with Lower Decks, which again, except for when they go a little over the top with the sex humor, I can't say I have any real complaints about Lower Decks ever. And then as far as Yesteryear is concerned, it is the gold standard when it comes to any animated show anywhere, except for the animation itself. The animation itself is just as garbage as any other film.
It's filmation. It's filmation.
Yeah. Which I do love. I have to say, I do love that in the
I have a prop for that episode. I can't wait.
In the trailer that you made, I love the fact that you captured that moment that I was talking about, how Spock seemed to crush the neck of that cat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because in the frame it's like neck is there and then it was just shape of a cone.
Yeah. But Yesteryear is one of the very, very few things that will make me tear up. And when
you're such a dog person.
I am. I got my dog right here.
No shit. Yeah.
Yeah. I am
got my dog right there.
I am absolutely, and I'm actually generally a big dog person, this is the first little dog I've ever had. And it's only because of my physical condition, and I can't take care of a big dog anymore. But yes, I'm absolutely a dog person. I have such a soft spot for dogs, and Chaya behaved in a way that I could absolutely see some of the dogs that I've had behaving. And so I just thinking about it is making me get a little watery eyed. So that episode, anything makes me that emotional, and I don't get emotional about much stuff. That is, I'll tell you right now, I'm not going to bury the lead. It's a 10 out of 10. It is absolutely 10 out of 10, despite the crap animation.
Wow.
Okay. And so, because the story is,
hey man, you're on page 10. We're on page 2. You're skipping ahead too far.
Yeah. But yeah,
let me get my hot take in before we start giving ratings. Damn it, shit.
All right, so there you go.
Oh, of course, while I'm cleaning my glasses. Hold on. All right, so Yesteryear, I'm going to go backwards. So Yesteryear, I showed you guys that I have the book right here. I'm a huge fan. I had the box set.
Yeah, well, I'm not helping my case talking about fumigating out ferrets with nitrogen.
I don't think right? Jason is Kurogan. So I mean, they're the only ones I know that really like torturing innocents. But go ahead.
So the Yesteryear episode is arguably, and I saw some people in the chat didn't like it, so that they're not going to like the statement. It is arguably the best episode of the animated series. It's the one most widely, commonly, universally recognized as canon for whatever reason. Even when the animated series wasn't canon, for some reason, Yesteryear was. With Spock's childhood cities that showed up, when they remaster the original series in a muck time, they add in the city and it looks exactly like it does. In this episode we're about to review. So Yesteryear, written by DC Fontana, the only one she wrote, by the way, for the animated series. So since Mike's an asshole and buries the lead, it's a 10 out of 10 for me too, jerk. But whatever. It's my favorite episode. And it's ironic because my favorite episode of the original series is City on the Edge of Forever. And what do these episodes have in common?
Guardian of Forever.
Anybody? Bueller?
No.
Bueller?
The writer?
The Guardian of Forever.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Okay. Yeah.
Whether the two stories around the Guardian of Forever. I mean, it's technically a sequel to City on the Edge of Forever.
Yeah, it's crazy. And it's
not the only sequel, by the way, Jason, in the animated series. We're coming up on a sequel to Trouble with Tribbles.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, I knew there was a Tribbles episode in there. Yeah. The way your mother worded that, it feels like those stupid ads you see on the side. One secret that can help you win at the casinos in your city.
Hey guys, looks like I got to go hit up South Point. I'll see you later. Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, that MGM. It was MGM that got clipped. It was bad. It was really bad.
I didn't hear about that, but serves the casinos right.
Yes,
they were bragging about how they're up 6% over.
I kind of chuckled because, well, I've told you who my brother-in-law used to work for. So I kind of chuckled that he managed to GTFO from them before this showed up on the radar because he'd lived there if that had happened.
My hot take for Lower Decks. I did not like this episode. I'm sorry. It's probably going to be my lowest rated Lower Decks episode. I haven't landed on the rating yet. Maybe through our discussion of the review, as has happened in the past. I can be swayed up or down, but I have an idea of where I'm at right now. It just, I don't know.
It just didn't get you? Didn't just grab onto you?
No, it wasn't.
Because he's not.
I guess I don't know, man. Maybe it's my No, I don't know. See, because I really liked Voyager episode a lot.
Maybe they came out of the gate too hard for you this season.
This one was definitely a POS episode.
Yeah, but it was also like, I don't know, too many, like, so I'm gonna sound like you. I just felt like it was a little over the top with the member berries. Like,
But the
you know,
Voyager episode had more member berries than this one.
but you know,
And they were just
they made
Voyager
more sense, and they worked with what was going on. These were just a bunch of random things from all kinds of different like stuff, like from TNG, from DS9, you know, TOS. Like they're just all thrown together for no apparent reason whatsoever. It just I don't know. It felt, you know, like the
Well,
you
there
get
was
mad about
one. There
Picard's-
was one reason why it was all in there.
And why is that?
They needed a bunch of things for the mousetrap, booby trap.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah.
It was there for the plot.
Yeah.
Well, I don't. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
well,
items
anyways,
existed so the plot could go forward.
Okay,
You could use
so-
you could use that line that the drinker likes to use a lot.
Yeah. All right. So
The
there you go.
difference
That's
is
the
Lower
line.
Decks doesn't try to hide that fact.
All right. Well, that's
Yeah.
my hot take. So let's get into.
Right. So in other words, basically, Danny is going to be a hater today.
No, I don't think so. This was
Sounds like it. Sounds like you.
especially when we get to yesteryear. I'm gonna be blowing that thing like the whole time.
That's like your favorite word.
I watched too much Kevin Smith. Sorry. Yeah.
What does he like to say that?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I don't watch Kevin Smith. Sorry. I like people, you know, that have a brain. Anyway,
Oh,
so
God. Ooh, my kidney.
Shots fired.
bam. All right. So I just started here just because I do love this shot, because I mean that is just the most insane battle.
It's ridiculous. Why is the whale probe there? Why?
I don't know,
Would
but
it
at this
really
point,
be there?
I am no
Well-
longer skipping the intro on this show ever.
Yeah. And I want to know what's going to be next season. Like,
Yeah.
what could they
Oh.
add to this to step it up from here now?
Do we know
Yeah,
if they have
Ariel,
it in
yeah.
the can, by the
How's the
way?
crystalline entity there?
Yeah.
You know, that's a great point.
Yeah. So, yeah, it doesn't matter how they're there. It's just what could they add to this to make it even more epic than it already is? That's the idea. Is they're just making the battle bigger and more epic every season.
Do we know? if they
Brian,
have
my
season
point exact.
5
I
in the can?
already asked that question earlier. Sorry.
We know if there's a season 5. Is that what you said?
No, we know there's gonna be. That's almost without a doubt. But if there was, if it's been locked in, do we know if it actually made it to the can, or are we gonna get stuck
I
waiting
don't-
on this?
You know, I just thought of something.
was that?
Somebody tell me, when did the crystalline entity first appear?
Oh, it was
Data lore.
Season 1. Right?
When was Data Lore?
Oh, 1987.
No. I mean, episode.
It's like episode 8 or something like that. Let me go look it up. Oh, episode guide, season 1.
So it's season 1.
12. Episode 12. January
Season 1,
16.
yes.
January. Actually, the air date was January 16, 1988.
No, that doesn't work then. Okay, never mind.
Okay.
I was thinking that maybe, like, the whale probe showed up this season, and the whale probe was in Star Trek 4, and this is season 4.
Yeah.
So, like, wouldn't it be funny, like, next season, God shows up?
That dude said,
Great big hairy beard guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Along with his megalith that's shaped around him or whatever too. That'd
oh
be
my God.
even better.
Right. But no, I was wondering if the crystalline entity was from season 3, but
Oh no.
No,
There was a
season
follow-on episode that had the crystalline entity, but that wasn't the first appearance.
what was the episode, the crystalline entity? When was that one?
Oh goodness, that was easily season 4 or 5. And that was the one that had the lady who claimed to be
The crazy lady.
Yeah. Oh, I don't even remember what the name of that episode was. It's not the drumhead. That's that episode. It must be season 5. I'm assuming. It was definitely well into
Season
the series.
5. It's called Silicon Avatar season 5.
Ah, yes, yeah, that's
No,
that's-
I thought there was an episode actually called crystalline entity.
No. It
No?
was Silicon
No, Data
Avatar.
Lore
Okay,
and
the
then
closest was
Silicon
Silicon
Avatar.
Avatar.
Yeah.
You know what would be a good thing to add that I could see now? Imagine if behind the Borg cube, coming up behind it, was a giant Apollo hand. It's like reaching for the Borg cube. I think that could be good.
But apparently
Yeah.
they added the crystalline entity Ariel in the opening credits of season 3. So
Right.
this is its second
They added the crystalline entity in season 3. They add the Pakleds and the Klingons in season 2.
Yeah.
But
yeah, why the whale probe in season 4? That's an excellent question.
Maybe Michael hit it. It was because it was from Star Trek 4.
Right. Yeah, because the whale probe just seems.
But it makes absolutely no sense there. It makes no sense there whatsoever. Yeah.
And the whale probe doesn't seem to be shooting at anybody. You know, it's just kind of sitting there.
Yeah, it doesn't have the little ball down. Like usually there was a stream.
Well, the ball comes down right where you see. Like, see, it's. If I play.
Oh, is it okay? Okay.
Yeah, it fully comes out.
Money shot. Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
And I would agree, though, Mark. I think it would be cool to bring the Doomsday Machine, but the Doomsday Machine looks an awful lot like the whale probe. So, you know.
Well, in the remastered edition, it was they totally changed because we just, or at least I just watched it recently. That was the one with Decker, right? Goes mad.
That's one with Commodore Decker.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, so there's that thing. And you know, they should have thrown something from Strange New Worlds in there.
I was hoping they were going to get really, really brave and make a Halo reference.
Oh yeah,
making a Halo reference.
So as soon as I saw that thing, I wanted to hear like,
yeah, like some kind of I really wanted some Halo reference in here.
And a super chat from Thomas Potts. Thank you. Wrong. It did appear in Data Lore season 1.
No, that we said that.
Yes.
Data Lore season 1, and then its second and final appearance was in season 5.
But thank you for the $1.99.
Yeah, I will take the $1.99. But and of course we got some Cool World with this one. So not quite Marilyn Monroe, but still very hot. But not quite as hot as the bonus one of me and Danny dancing together.
What?
You remember the one? There's the random ladies dancing.
The SNL
one
skit.
of you and me dancing side by side.
Oh, okay.
You don't remember that?
No.
The one where everything is a lie.
You really don't remember that?
Okay.
Are you saying you don't remember? Wow.
I don't. I mean, maybe if I saw it, I'd. But I can't envision.
Make it play.
No, it's the Patrick Swayze and I live in a van down by the river.
Okay. From SNL with Chris Farley.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now you ruined it though, Jason. So now people know. In case so I was hoping we would intrigue them. Get them to,
I live in a van.
Oh yeah, that would be good to put Nagilum in there messing around.
Oh yeah, big baby weird looking face thing, yeah. But yeah, I really wanted a Halo reference. This was just begging.
That's a great
for
question.
it.
You should have a Jessica Rabbit.
And Moopsy
Super chat
with a $1 super tip. And see, super tips get the commander.
Yeah.
Saying that's right, thank you. Saying Moopsy, and I'm not sure why. Oh, Moopsy! I was like, at first, what? What were you talking about? And then I got it. Moopsy! Run! It'll drink your bones.
That is so trippy. Like they should have did a little Halo nod.
Yeah,
they really should have.
Man, and I can't believe we need to get the $50 version of that other program in order to make that full screen. What we just saw. Anyway, so you don't know what we're talking about, Danny, but
what's that?
The super chats and stuff. Remember we were.
Oh yeah, no. There's if we were to switch to EV Mux as the platform,
which I do want to switch.
You can actually tie your donation overlays directly into the broadcast software
Right.
Like,
So I don't
see,
have
I
to
would
put
like
it
to
into
do
my
that.
personal.
Yeah, I would
website.
like to figure out how to do that too, because I have no idea when people send
Well,
me
and that way
stuff.
we could tie in both of ours and make it so that like if people donated to you, it would pop up too.
Yeah.
But the problem is that you have to get the $50 version, so we have to get more people to go to
$50 a month. So let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Do they have a non-profit version that we could get?
Yeah, it's $50 a month.
No, a non-profit. If you
Right,
get a non-
$50
No, they don't.
a month.
They don't have anything. They don't have anything listed other
No,
than
'cause I got-
free.
No,
I got
you pay.
Zoom.
You pay. It's yeah, you can pay less and get less features.
No, I get
Yeah.
it, but I'm not kidding. You should look into this, and I can tell you how.
Yeah, but we're
especially
not
with-
a non-profit. I mean, we don't make a profit, but we're not a non-profit.
You're not listening to me, damn it. I own a non-profit organization. You know what? Never mind. I don't even care.
Listen
I
to me now and hear me in 2 weeks. Hans and
Just haven't
Franz.
used the damn thing in forever because that's back when I made, like 6 figures a year and life was good. I can't afford, like, I actually might not even have it anymore.
And
I
yes,
can-
Brian, I thought that was the Hall of Justice immediately when I saw
a
that.
little bit.
If the top had an eagle head on it, it would have been a hard lock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Stanley says, "Is that game done in Unity?"
No, it's Unreal Engine 5.3.
Oh, you're talking about the game that the Kurogan game that we showed
Yeah.
a little clip of? Yeah, no, that's Unreal Engine 5. So we're not affected by the Unity controversy.
Oh yeah, that was a huge.
Yeah, a lot of people are gonna be switching over to Unreal now.
There's a bunch of companies that straight up said that they're removing all their games from the Steam library and everything.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
if
Microsoft
I were.
stepped in it hard.
I think what's going to happen is they're going to backtrack on it real quick, and
Probably, but at that point, once bitten, twice shy.
yeah.
So that's kind of stupid on their
Yeah.
part.
And for those of you that don't know, Unity, the game engine, they made a business decision that was really stupid, because while the best engine out there, I mean, there's nobody that argues anything other. The Unreal Engine is the best engine out there. And the best engine out there, Unreal, while it does have a steeper learning curve than Unity, it's basically free. You can have it 100% free as long as you make less than $1 million a year on your game. And that's so if you net, it is net. Or gross, I mean, it is gross. If you gross less than $100 million or $1 million, that'd be great. If you gross less than $1 million in your game, then you pay nothing. Please don't do that, Danny. I can't finish if you do that.
Well, not only is it that, but you don't pay anything even on that million. You only start paying
Right, you only
royalties
start paying on everything after that.
after the mill. Yeah,
And
that's even a big deal for studios and stuff as far as
Right.
making movie content and
Right, which means
shorts and
unless you're making money, you're not paying anything. And that's how much you're making on the project, not how much your company is making, how much you're making on that project.
Yeah.
So now Unity has a totally different structure. Unity, you pay a monthly fee to use the engine itself, and they have a royalty fee from based on the number of times the game is installed. And they recently just jacked up those fees. And so that someone and they showed like this one guy who had a free to play game that on the old system under Unity didn't have to pay anything. Under the new system would have to pay like $800,000.
Actually, it's even worse than that.
Yeah, that he gave away.
It's worse than that because they do actually have a free edition that, because of this change, makes the free edition not free anymore.
Right. But I'm just saying, this guy had the free edition before,
and he got.
But now it would cost him $800,000 to put out what he basically made as a free game for people.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it was very popular.
Yeah.
And so it's just beyond stupid.
Yep.
So basically they said, hey, you know what? You should all go get Unreal Engine because we're going to screw you hard.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, so yeah, that little snippet that you saw in the video, and I'm going to show more stuff as it develops. That's just, the tip of the very tiny tip of what the Unreal 5 engine can do. That was just me dinking around for a couple of days trying to figure out the basics of how it works. So, yeah. Anyway, so we see that these people live in this paradise type environment, except that they have really long eyebrows and spots on their heads.
And I love the fact that in a second here we're going to see them just absolutely slam modern art.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, the form on that is horrible, but that's our finest work.
But look at these other ones, they're horrible.
Yeah,
but it's identical.
Yeah, they're the exact same thing. So yeah, they're having all sorts of problems because their main computer overlord is malfunctioning, but it's a benevolent computer overlord, and so Ransom and the cat. Oh yeah, there's the artwork you were talking about. Ransom is just like, yeah, the structure on this art just really sucks.
So amateur.
Yeah. So, and the computer is very nice, very helpful. It's like almost like ChatGPT, very, very friendly. But screws up a lot. So like when we ask for some iced tea, makes it boiling hot and almost burns his hand. So they figured that, okay, they got to try and figure this out. And yes, Mark, I agree. Larry Niven would definitely like this episode. And Larry Niven did write an episode of Star Trek, the animated series. So the Slaver Weapon, which is another one of my favorite episodes, which introduces this guy's race, by the way, to the Star Trek universe.
Oh, really? That's
yes. So, in case you're wondering, do you recognize what he is? Look carefully at him.
Well, I don't, because I don't know. But Danny?
The
cat dude.
I mean, he's got like webbed ears. No, I don't know.
He is, and I wish I could. Thank you, Mark. Put it in the chat. It is Kzinti.
The Kzinti. Okay.
And the Kzinti are from the Ringworld series, and Larry Niven purposely included the Kzinti in the Slaver Weapon episode, canonizing Ringworld as part of the Star Trek universe. So it was his own little thing he wanted to do, kind of like this kind of stuff. So Kzinti, a human, and what is that guy? Anybody?
Fish guy, like from no, that's the Orville, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know what he is. I couldn't figure out what he was.
Yeah. So they gotta remove these power packs because they're out of date and update them, but they're very dangerous, and so Boimler's in charge. And then we get the Room O member berries that Danny hates. And by the way, there's member berries that I didn't even zoom in on in the song. Like back there's the probe.
So what is that gold looking probe thing at one shot? Because that confused me. I was not sure what that was.
There's a few things.
Just watch like Screen Crusher.
Did you see the Romulan cloaking devices in there?
Because I picked up on all the obvious stuff, like the fighty stick there, and then
there's on the 12 back here. I'm trying to figure out what this is right
Nomad.
here. Can you see my?
I think it's just like a test cylinder, isn't it?
I think
one of those transporter test cylinders.
Obviously, there's
the that right there. What is that?
Oh,
on
this
the right.
This thing here.
Yeah,
I'm not 100. It looks an awful lot like the Temple of the Preservers, but it would be like a model of it.
Yeah, because it did not stand out to me at all as to
Yeah,
what it
I mean
was.
that's what it looks like to me, is a scale model of the Temple of the Preserve. You know what I'm talking about? The obelisk on Miramani's planet.
Yes, yeah.
And so, I mean, it could be a scale model of it. Let's see. There's the spider thing,
Which I also don't know what that's from. So
Again, I think that it's from the Orville, isn't it?
Okay, look up here. Look right above her head.
What is that?
That's the Romulan cloaking device.
Oh, it is.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
See, okay. Just like how many can we squeeze into it?
Yeah, I just love that they got that up there, especially
man.
since the top part of the Romulan cloaking device is also Nomad's head. So, and Nomad's in the same room.
Is there shelf space? Shove it in there.
Yeah, all this stuff in one room. How many of us would kill to have access to this room? I mean, just as nerds.
Oh, if it was, and it was really real, yeah, that'd be hilarious.
There you go.
I'd go in the Alamarine room and just make a ruckus. I'd just I'd graffiti every wall in the game.
But then they get called to duty where they got to go to the Matrix room here because one isolinear chip has failed and the internal sensors have also failed, and they need to find it and replace
This
it.
is totally a rib. This is a BS rib. This is not. This is. I think the Orion chick. I always forget her name.
Tindy.
Tindy. I think she was spot on saying this was a haze, especially with the conversation he has with Ransom at the end at the bar.
Yeah. Oh, I could tell it was a haze when he magically shows up just before or just after they'd finished rigging his room to get him back.
Right.
Yeah.
So. Right. Yeah. Don't forget the room floods with nitrogen every few minutes. And then, like later, when he says, "Oh, I thought the hidden button was obvious."
Yeah.
So, meanwhile, on the planet, the computer is still helpful, but malfunctioning. So the captain wants to take care of it herself because she's got nothing better to do, I guess.
What's funny is I don't know if you know about this from the past, but it would have been funny if you did in your trailer. You could have done a clip of Bill O'Reilly in his scream fit of "We'll do it live,"
yeah,
and then show the update progress meter
we'll do it live.
going to red and everything breaks.
So I want to acknowledge the chat first of all. You're crushing it on your end. You got 21 people watching you. I got a measly 4, and they're probably the same 4.
Well, first of all, they're watching us on both channels, so it's okay.
Yeah, but not everybody can see the other's chats in the different rooms. So in your chat, it's come up a few times about the member berries. People, inquiring minds want to know, why is it okay in this but not in Star Trek Continues?
And I made it. I thought I made it clear. It's the context.
One's a comedy and one's not, right?
Right. I think that when you're bringing it up as a matter of comedy, like in that one scene we just looked at, the fact that they have all that stuff in one room on a ship that, by the way, had nothing to do with any of those adventures, is hilarious.
Like, why would the Cerritos have those things?
Right. Why would it have any of those things on board?
That was my issue. That's my issue with it. It's not funny.
It is funny.
It's stupid. Anyway.
Because the Cerritos is a ship that just basically goes around.
You know what makes sense? The member berries in Star Trek Continues, because the only member berries they use is from the original series. So it makes sense.
Yeah, well, whatever.
You all saw that. He couldn't. Yeah.
I'm not saying you can't use member berries and have it make sense, but I'm saying that if your show depends on member berries for its plot to move forward, then it doesn't have a plot.
Okay, am I missing something? Do what with paper sack puppets? Because I'm all about puppetry, you know. So
I'm not sure what
I'm confused.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Last time I did that, I was like 8 years
puppet.
old or something.
Yeah. You
Maybe
remember
the-
she's a librarian or teacher or whatever. So.
Well, yeah.
Now I got to say, when the things start really malfunctioning and the clouds come crashing down, oh man, I right here, I about lost it. I was just like, that was. Go on, Danny. You can't say that.
The bad part for me is I'm watching this and the old IT part of my brain's kicking in and goes, man, no one thought about failure modes when this thing goes wrong. It's like, why can't the place just turn into big puffy packing peanuts or something so that nobody dies? But no. Clouds fall from the sky and then later it turns into like, you know, regeneration mode and there's volcanoes.
And by the way, the member berries should be involving Enterprise as well.
Mm.
So, you know, suck on that.
Is that one Bob Ross?
I think it was.
Happy little accident, right?
Speaking of Enterprise, don't these kind of remind you of the warp engine from Enterprise?
Those
Yeah,
do. I wonder
yeah.
if that's, I didn't think about that, but that they do.
They definitely have that shape.
I'll bet that's
When
what
they do an overhead shot.
Because
exactly
they did mention these are very old power generators, so they're just warp cores like from the NX era.
So yeah, the NXO warp cores, you know, just power in the ring of it's not Halo.
Yeah, the not Halo ring.
Yeah, with the friendly caretaker that just has a bad safe mode.
Yeah. Oh, and look, it's snowing. Meanwhile, on the Cerritos, they're still scanning all the isolinear chips, and the lieutenant's
Where's
like,
Data when you need him? You know?
Yeah. The scene from the not drunk episode.
Yeah.
So then they decide, you know what? Enough of this crap. We're going to get him back. And then they're like, okay, I think we got the computer fixed. And all of a sudden the computer completely crashes, probably because they have about the IT levels of a certain Jason. And, you know, so they're like completely screwed now. And I like that he tries to jiggle the power cord. That is an actual IT groove. And so now they realize they need to reconnect all the power cells that they disconnected.
To which I have to tell you a very quick story. A couple of years ago, I literally jiggled a cord, not a power cord, and it caused an entire server to just shut off. That's not supposed to be a thing.
Oh, hey, you know what my problem ended up being yesterday? It's twofold with the Fire Stick. So thank you. I did need a more powerful block.
Mm-hmm.
But by the way, you know that your doctor said you should stop calling it Fire Stick.
Okay, and then when when I got it to work, it would kept like cutting off.
Yeah.
So I tried a different cable. Perfect, works perfect for him now.
Nice.
So, yeah,
how's the Chromecast? Still being donkey?
Chromecast is it's I don't know what.
Okay, you remember how much everybody hated listening to you guys talking about this yesterday?
Yeah. I know.
That probably hasn't changed.
Hey, that's how I felt when you were talking about gaming. And
we like take a swan dive into video games, and Danny's like, "Oh, God. Unless you're telling me how you're making the next WWE SmackDown game for the Xbox Series S."
What if it was a SmackDown game? Would you play it then?
I don't even play WWE 2K. I don't have a gaming system anymore.
Sure you do. You're sitting at one.
Oh, the computer. No, I do enough with this thing. I don't want to tax it. This is my bread and butter right here. I can't.
It makes him money. He doesn't want to beat it up any further.
Yeah, I don't want to like burn it out on.
Besides, you put a wrestling game on there, it'll be more realistic than the wrestling they put on TV.
Oh my God. Well, at least I get to control the storyline. That's all.
That's terrible and awesome. I have a
Wow.
fun hate thing.
Wow, Ariel, that hurt.
And these, you know, this, you know what hurts
That really hurt.
is the stupidity of these lower decks people, because they should have just, or not even, they should have just left this, but whatever. Like, I don't know. It's fine. Hey, look at that. We got a new soft noob girl. Right on. Hi, everyone. Hello there. Thanks for joining.
Say maybe we've seen them before.
Have we?
But
seen them?
I don't know. That's why I say I want to,
No.
but I
thank
could
you.
be
Welcome
very
back
wrong.
if you have.
Yes.
Everybody, while you're here, please don't forget to smash that thumbs up. I'm looking over here. We got he's dropped down to 19 people watching, but only 14 thumbs. So, like, come on, let's pump those numbers up.
Well, I can't say anything because Ariel hates me so much. So I'll just let you guys run the show. Since apparently Danny's got sex appeal and Jason's got the fun of his hate.
Let the hatred flow through you.
Exactly. I am apparently channeling.
No. Soft noob girl says doesn't think I've been here
Okay.
before.
Okay.
Well, how'd you find us? Thanks for joining. This is awesome.
Thanks for dropping by.
Right on.
Well, amazingly, every once in a while, YouTube recommends us. I don't know why, but
Welcome to 3 random dudes from 3 corners of North America.
Right.
Quite literally.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is very much the game of Mousetrap, by the way.
Yeah.
For those that remember that.
Complete untruth, saying it's absolutely not canon, so it's acceptable. There's no way in hell these characters have access to all this information. No one else in the universe should have. What information? Everything that they're talking about is public knowledge.
Yeah.
Is it though?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't it be? The Federation doesn't keep secrets, anything that they're talking about.
So the game was right in the middle of the
that would have become public information as soon as right after that incident.
Yeah. The probe, Picard plays his flute all the time. And the magic gift box was like the highlight of a TNG episode.
Well, and that's just Betazoid tradition.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah. When's your boy Spock? In a few minutes, as soon as we finish getting through this episode.
Yeah.
So they set up this interesting booby trap. You come through the door, trip on the wire, which, by the way, there's no way you wouldn't see any of this, but you trip on the wire, and apparently it would drop this on you, forcing you into the game.
Well, we actually see it happen.
I know, and then but I don't understand how this ends up in the game with you. That's what doesn't make sense. And then this thing shoots you and fills you. So after the game, you end up spending an entire lifetime going through the same life that Picard went through.
Yeah.
And so that's just messed up. So yeah, it is a pretty messed up booby trap, I gotta say. And so
didn't that probe self-destruct at the end of that episode anyway?
No, it went inert. It went inert, and then they pulled it inside.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Technically, it only shoots once.
But they could have recharged it since this is a long time later. So.
Oh yeah.
And so they start talking to him about how oh yeah, they did such a great job, and he's really relieved because he was worried that if that Yesteryear chip went, then the whole ship could blow. And so they're like, that's not good. So Mariner decides to distract him while the others try to disassemble the booby trap. Meanwhile, on the planet, it's literally turning into hell because they accidentally are rebooting the system, which reboots the entire planet.
Yeah,
and
the whole
so
ring. The ring of fire.
Yeah. Which makes you wonder how many people die during this.
Yeah, Johnny Cash's anthem should be played for that. And
I do agree. Yeah, the animated shows are able to do much more creative things, not just with the alien designs, but also the fact that they were able to bring in, like on Lower Decks. Yes, they do it for comedy, but they're able to bring in all these old props and stuff just anytime they feel like, and not have to spend a fortune to recreate them.
Yeah, they don't have to keep,
Right.
some giant warehouse 13 full of stuff.
Right. So she's going crazy fixing everything while Rutherford shows up to try and fix the booby trap, but he accidentally sets it off and ends up in the game. And she's like, "I'm moving along home," and he's like, "Oh crap."
Yeah.
And so meanwhile, she's keeping him distracted. He's going through Move Along Home. She's scanning the chips. I like that. Yeah. Chap 3. Here, give me my thing. Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Move Along Home. She's scanning the thing. And then he finally gets to the end where you make the leap of faith. And so he jumps. And then, but the probe fires and he holds that up to block it. And then the poor
Yeah.
gift box.
It took me a minute after he said, "I miss my wife," and I all of a sudden realized, oh yeah.
That's really messed up. Like, he should want to play the flute too.
Right.
But he finally gets everything taken out, and they get the power back on so they can reboot the system. And then, unfortunately, the whole place blows up right when the power hits critical, and it kills Boimler. Oh, man. But don't worry, he's got another guy. He goes to the world between worlds.
And
Trek
meets up.
Reviewer, I would like to know more about that fish-looking dude also, because I almost feel like it was I said earlier, like a Orville gag. Because wasn't there a dude that looked just like that in the Orville? So,
Kinda, yeah, there was.
Yeah, the guy that was sleeping with everybody. Yeah. So the koala says backwards, "It's not your time yet." And so, which I did. That is, by the way, I didn't make any alterations. I just played it backwards in that thing in the beginning.
I'm assuming your radar went off on that as soon as it was.
No, actually, I didn't even catch it. But Thomas sent me a message that Life with Matthew played it backwards on his Discord.
Oh,
yeah, but
nice.
that creature. See, I would have thought it was that creature, but he had to have a thing in his nostrils. He wore a thing, and this guy doesn't have that. So I don't think it's that.
Well, we know that for whatever reason, and that we found out in Lower Decks, that God is a koala. We don't know why.
Oh, not the okay. Well, I guess I have to.
Yeah, I'm headed off to Memory Alpha to see if they have any info for the episode yet.
Somebody explain to me what made this a Twin Peaks reference.
Made what a Twin Peaks reference? That he
Mark
died?
in the chat is saying that this was totally a Twin Peaks reference.
Oh, where he dies again?
Twinkle says it too. Yeah.
I don't know because I never watched Twin Peaks.
Yeah, I never watched.
Fortunately, unfortunately, I don't know. However you want to look at it, I never watched it.
Yeah, I never.
So then, at the end of the episode, back on the ship, Ransom and I can't. What's the engineer's name again? The
asshole. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Turns out, yes, they were just hazing him, and the end.
The end.
All right.
Yeah, this is a mediocre episode at best. Jesus.
So there you go. The World Between Worlds episode of Lower Decks. So, Danny, your final thoughts on this masterpiece?
I just gave him. This was a mediocre episode at best.
All right. What's your score?
5.5.
Oh, wow.
Ooh, right on the edge.
Yeah.
It was a solid episode. I'll give it a 7. It's gonna take a strong episode for me to go up into like 8 or 9 territory, and I'd have to really not be happy with it to drop down to 5.5 or 5.
Right. I would say, yeah, the big problem with comedy is that it's really hard for comedy to get into the great category. You know, like a Balance of Terror type episode that just becomes this great timeless classic. It's harder for a comedy to do that.
Yeah.
That being said,
gold here in the
a
chat.
comedy can more consistently perform, give good entertainment, which I think Lower Decks does, and I too will give it a 7. But I think Lower Decks is a consistent 7 for a series.
For the most part, I would say.
Yeah.
Here's a funny little
and
side
that's not
note.
a bad thing.
The Dirk
So
character,
cumulatively, we gave it a 6.5. Right on.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah. So Dirk, the jerk that had them in there and he was pranking them.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
same voice actor that does or no, wait a minute. No, never mind. Sorry. I got
Are you
that
being
wrong.
stupid? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. But he did do another voice in the show. It's Phil Lamar. He did
Oh, yeah.
Admiral Freeman.
Phil Lamar is an incredibly prolific voice actor.
He is.
Captain Fandom Nerd, I'm glad we can be of service to you. So speaking of being of service,
Captain Phantom Nerd hates Lower Decks.
if you think this is a cool design, Big Trouble in Lego China, let me put a little link in the chat and let me share a little something with you, because today's sponsor is me. The Dork Knight t-shirt shop on Mixed T. I pay you in free thumbnails every week, Fracker. Anyway.
Oh, really? When they're on time, I'll take that.
So, so if you go to mixtees.com/dorkknight, link is in the chat on his channel. It's in the description on mine. If he would just share my screen, there you go. There's a better look at that sexy design. I have this and others, such as a Star Wars.
You should have photoshopped your head on there.
Mashup. No, I would have just done the photo shoot. Like, you know, no, I'm good. It's a hip.
Yeah, but they don't make shirts that big, right?
Cat. What are you talking about? They can do any size, man. How do you think Vader gets his shirts? Yeah,
I'm helping you with the commercials. You know,
oh, okay, yeah. So we have plenty
even
of designs.
if you're as big as Danny, you can get a shirt that'll fit,
or bigger. So you can check out this design. Big Trouble.
LDG says he has work for you.
Oh, sweet! I'll check it out because I could use it. We also have other designs like the Final Fantasy VII Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2 mashup t-shirts. And so go check the Evil Dead, Walking Dead mashup shirt. So check those out. More designs will be coming soon. That's mixtees.com/dorkknightlv. Link is in the chat on Salties and in the description on mine.
And you know what'll be great is once we get the actual website set up, so there'll be one place to go for everything. That's what we're working on right now.
Yeah, so it's funny you mentioned that, because I would like to segue into somehow. You see this guy, you know why he looks so chill and cool? That's because he uses Fuel Up.
That's right.
Fuel Up is a proud sponsor of the show. If you go to fuelup.gg/nerdfights or use the promo code nerdfights at checkout when you go to fueluphydration.com, you will get free shipping, a free shaker bottle, and a money back guarantee. Oh, wow. You know, you're like Michelle Pfeiffer from Witches of Eastwick. Don't let this woman borrow your toothbrush either. Yeah, right. So we've got the Fuel Up Wake, the Fuel Up Play, which that t-shirt guy was definitely on, and Fuel Up Rest, which has been helping. You know, I'll be honest with you, that's the one that I use the most because I have a really hard time turning my brain off at night, and I've been using this, and it's actually working. So I really do. I do that one. I like the Play. Some days I drink coffee instead of Wake. I know they don't want me to say that, but I regularly use these two, especially the Rest. So yeah, if you do a subscription, it boils down to only $1.75 per serving. You mix it up in the free shaker bottle with 16 ounces of water, and you are good to go. So once again, that's fuelup.gg/nerdfights or use promo code nerdfights at checkout. Thank you. And now back to our review show.
Awesome. And coming soon will be one website to rule them all.
Yes.
So I'm going to keep
After
pressuring
after my surgery, bro. That's my plan. Right now, I'm trying to make as much money as I
after
can.
your surgery.
My surgery's October 19th. Dude, you got to understand. I have to make as much money as possible because I will not be able to work. Literally, I'll be bedridden for a week at best. You know, and sitting like this is going to be impossible until about week 3. So I'm not going to be able to work really for like 2 weeks. So I need to have, prepare for that. So then after that,
you have to say sleep is overrated anyway.
I know, man. I used to say that I'll sleep when I'm dead, but turns out it's not so good for you to not sleep.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you were not so good for you to be death. Death. Every death is the nation's #1 killer.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it's.
And did you know? And this is absolutely true, by the way, and it's true for every single person in the chat as well as both of you. And you ready for this? It's kind of mind blowing.
Yeah, listen. Okay, all right.
You will die in 2 minutes, but the counter for that 2 minutes resets every time you breathe.
I see.
Oh. Well,
that is true.
The more you know.
I was going to say 5 minutes, really, but yeah,
2 minutes and you're pretty much gone.
Mom, I didn't get it from you today. Hopefully I get it tomorrow. Hopefully you have the correct address.
Yes, Dan, he is finally transitioning. That's why he's getting the surgery.
Hip replacement, asshole. Anyway.
Yeah, that's what they call it now. Hip affirmative surgery.
Who put that in? Or did you just
I just made that
pull
up.
that one out of the air?
Yeah. Hey, LDG, thanks for stopping by, man. I'll hit you up. Maybe we can talk. And then Mother, no, I did not get my birthday envelope today, but hopefully tomorrow. I don't know. I've got a package from somebody coming on
birthday
the 15th.
Envelope?
Yeah, so it'll be a check for $44. Every year she sends me an old school check in the amount of my age that year. So I wish she'd lived to be 100 for me to be 100, but she's not going to live that long. So
tell her you went through a time machine and you went to, and you're now 1,000 years older.
Yeah, there you go.
So she owes you an extra $1,000.
Nah. So do we? Random Menace used to be a swimmer. Countdown resets at 4. Right on. Yeah, let's get into this. Yesteryear.
Right, Yesteryear. Okay, so yes, crappy animation, but let's talk. Okay, and even like, okay, does this look anything like the Guardian of Forever? No. Does it sound anything like the Guardian? No. The ruins look all wrong. The Guardian looks all wrong. Even the spiral in the middle is the wrong color. Everything is wrong. And then when it talks, "Woo, I am the Guardian." It's like, what is that voice?
Yeah.
And so it's typical problems like this show has. However, they're at the Guardian of Forever studying history, and in this particular case, they're studying the development of the Orion Empire. And
well, Mark Henson, it sounds like Scotty, because Scotty did like all the extras voices.
Scotty did a lot of the male voices, just like Majel Barrett did a lot of the female voices.
Yeah,
in fact, Majel Barrett and Nichelle did basically all of the female voices on the show.
Yeah.
And so,
yes, that was my question too on the weekend. What is that?
Yeah, So remember, if you go to supportsalty.com, he actually, did you put this one up yet?
No, yeah, I'm going to put this one up before I go to bed tonight.
Okay, so if you go to supportsalty.com and you want to see, like, his first reaction, real-time responses to stuff like you just asked, Ariel, it would be $5 well spent because it's a lot of fun.
And if we get enough supporters, we'll be able to go to the $50 version of the streaming software so that Danny can finally highlight comments.
I pay more attention to the chat than you guys for some reason. I don't get it. I don't know why.
Well, that's why it'll be nice because it takes a team, man.
Yeah.
No, it will be, and it also, and once Danny, gets off his butt and starts doing the graphics work, another thing that's really good about this other streaming software is it allows you to do live overlays. So you would be able to do overlays over our cameras and like what we're doing right now. So we wouldn't have to just have like our stuff plastered on top of a picture. We can have a picture on top of this.
Like on the entire frame. Yeah, it's really, really slick.
Yeah. And when somebody super chats, it would pop up over the whole thing. I mean, it's really.
Highlight this Anthony Mark comment. I think, especially with what we were talking about with you earlier. Look at that.
Yeah, it's this episode deals with death in a way more mature than almost anything I've ever seen on television, let alone a children's show. So
an Emmy award-winning children's show, by the way.
Yeah, well, and this episode actually got a Hugo Award, which interestingly enough, so did City on the Edge of Forever. And
what do those two have in common again, ladies and gentlemen?
Well, not the Guardian of Forever, because this thing, whatever it is, this is the fire donut.
He says he's the Guardian of Forever. It's the poor man's Guardian. It's anime. It's Filmation. Remember?
I just as a quick reminder, because I was pretty sure I was remembering how the machine, so to speak, worked in the original series. It would have taken too much animation effort to keep blinking the outer ring in the rainbow bright colors.
Right.
That is correct, Thomas. That is correct.
I would like to see, and people have suggested it in the past. The problem is, like, I would honestly,
soft noob girl. So if you haven't see that comment, this episode might hit different for someone who just recently put down a pet and hadn't seen it.
Yeah, so, if you put down a pet and you haven't seen this episode, I will warn you, this episode will make you bawl.
Yeah, you're gonna cry.
I've had to bury and take to pets to be put down, and it's tough.
Anyway, so Kirk and Spock went back in time to observe the Romulans, or not the Orions, as they built their civilization. And Dr. McCoy looks at Spock and's like, "Who's that?" And Kirk's like, "Come on, you know Spock." And he's like, "Afraid I don't, Jim." and so they beam up, and when they beam up, Scotty's like, "A Vulcan," because we all know Scotty is a racist. I mean, so he's just like freaking out because there's a Vulcan on the ship. And so Kirk is like, "Hey, I am not going to have the first officer of this ship disrespected." And immediately Hemmer comes in and says, "Well, I agree."
Not Hemmer. Don't confuse people who haven't seen it. It's not the character of Hemmer.
Not Hemmer.
It's an Andorian.
Yeah.
What do you look at the color of his skin? That's Hemmer.
Well, I know they screwed up the colors. Yeah, they accidentally drew an Enar instead of an Andorian.
This is where they got the idea for the Enar. I'm pretty sure.
This is actually the first, the low key first appearance of the Enar.
Yeah.
Well, no, because you see, remember, and Strange New Worlds takes place before this, and so so this would not be the first Enar in Starfleet.
I said first appearance because this is a 50-year-old episode of television, but whatever.
So we find out this guy is the first officer of the Enterprise, and that there's no record of a Spock at all. Like, not just that he's not in Starfleet, that he doesn't exist.
So I don't want to get into the time paradox because I love this episode and you have to suspend disbelief. But if he doesn't exist, how is he standing there?
Well, that's how the Guardian works.
No, I know.
Yeah, this
Trying
is
to
how
be a
mafia
smartass.
works,
Guardian.
man.
One thing people don't understand. No. It makes perfect sense if you know a little bit about quantum mechanics, because
Yeah.
the way that the Guardian works is that he radiates with the power of plot.
Yeah.
So they do some research, and they find out that Sarek, there you go, Ambassador Sarek, was did have a son named Spock who died at what age was he? 6?
6 or 7. It was
Yeah.
young.
Yeah, like 6, 7 years old. And then because of how tragic it was, he separated from his wife, and then his wife died in a shuttle accident shortly after. And so so because of something that happened, both Spock and his mother were dead. And so they scan history, and it turns out, and Spock figures it out, is that Spock remembers that he had a cousin that saved his life when he was a child. And Kirk's like, did that cousin happen to look a lot like you look like today? And Spock's like, yep. And so they figured out that Spock was supposed to be there to save himself, but he couldn't because he was busy studying the Orions. And so Spock has to go back in time and basically save himself from whatever event he actually remembers being saved from, but his memory is a little faint, so he can't remember exactly what he has to do. Only he remembers the date and the location and the general events that will happen. So Spock's like, okay, give me the traditional Vulcan desert clothing that I'm going to need. And so they give it to him. And what does Spock do? He goes through the portal to Vulcan without changing his clothes.
And then slaps it on over top because...
Yeah, but the thing is that he doesn't even bother to take off his... There, right there.
No, for the first while. Eventually he does.
I don't know. I don't think he ever does.
Eventually he does. Yeah. You'll see.
But right here, you see, he clearly does not take off his Starfleet uniform.
Yeah,
he's just wearing a bathrobe over his Starfleet uniform. And he walks up like, yes, I am not in Starfleet. I am just a citizen of Vulcan wandering through the desert at random, and I would like to visit. And Sarek is like, oh, sure. So you're my long-lost cousin. Welcome, cousin. You can stay here, no questions asked, and spend time alone with my boy, because Sarek is an idiot. And Professor Farnsworth with his dollar says, don't tell me Spock becomes his own grandfather. That makes me angry enough to go to the Angry Dome. Yes, because Fry, for those of you that don't know, is his own grandpa. Could you imagine if that was a time paradox you had to... Just think about that.
It's a thing.
Yeah. Like, you're muted, Danny.
This is where I'm going to get a little dark, and professional help is being sought. If me being born had anything to do with me going back in time to do something about it, I would cease to exist.
No, I'm pretty sure most of us would probably fall into that category.
You see, no, you wouldn't, though, because you exist.
Yeah, but if I don't complete the grandfather paradox I'm supposed to complete, then I'll cease to exist.
Right, but the problem is that you do exist. Therefore, you did go back in time and do the nasty with your grandma.
Yeah, but I wouldn't.
This is why
you already did.
This is why Danny does not subscribe to Looper.
Actually, really dislike that movie, but that's fine.
Really, you dislike Looper?
Yeah, that's the one with Bruce Willis.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's actually a good
Yeah.
Ryan Johnson movie. I don't know what your problem.
There's no such thing as a good Ryan
Nah.
Johnson movie.
I was expecting that. That was an
There's not.
okay movie of his.
So then we see young Spock fight Beavis and Butthead. And I mean, tell me that's not Beavis. I mean, my goodness.
It was, yeah. I very much appreciated your twist on it.
By the way, did you notice how perfect the lip sync was?
I did, man. I was like, oh, I bet you would love that.
I did nothing there. I just threw it on the track and it matched. And I was like, no way. And so that's why it cuts and zooms in, because I was like, I got to show off the fact that it actually matches so perfectly. And even the laugh is there. I mean, I was like, I couldn't believe it.
Thomas, I'll give you that. That's the only.
What do you say?
That's the
Knives
only.
Out. Yeah.
That's the only decent movie Ryan Johnson's made.
Whatever. I like Looper.
Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense.
It makes sense. It's just
it makes sense. Okay,
within its own universe. Look, everybody does time travel differently.
Yes.
Looper is, I mean, the problem is, and this is what people forget about time travel stories. Time travel is not possible.
No shit,
very true.
And so that's the problem. Everybody says, but wait a minute, this wouldn't time travel is not possible. So time travel wouldn't happen at all. So can we stop arguing about what's realistic time travel?
You're the one arguing. I just said
I know,
that
but I'm just
my
saying,
being born was dependent on me
realistic
going
time
back
travel.
and banging my grandmother, knowing what I know now.
You're
I
gonna
would just
bang
say,
your
you know what? I let's not bother with it. Let's I don't need to be here. You know, neither does my dad, for that matter. So we're good. We're good. World just got lighter, better place.
Anyway, so then Spock and Sarek have an interesting conversation. And
I'll see you later, Mark. Thanks for stopping by.
And there's some good stuff here, but I mean, a lot of it is very dry conversation that you got to pay attention to. But I do really like it, and we're going to get into my little theory at the end here in a minute, which we talked about on Saturday. But basically, I do like Spock's conversation with Sarek, especially in context, knowing Spock's relationship with Sarek.
And how did they get Mark Leonard without giving him credit?
I told you, I think Mark Leonard just saw the script was so good, and since they had such a low budget, he did it for free. That's the only thing I can think of. Because for an actor of Mark Leonard's caliber to go uncredited means he did not get paid.
Right. And
so I think he just looked at the script and said, no, I don't want someone else to do Sarek, because what they would have done is had either Leonard Nimoy or James Doohan do their best impersonation of Sarek. But instead he said, no, I'll do it. I can spare a weekend to read the lines, which I'm glad he did.
It paid off because, Star Trek, gave him gigs all the way up through TNG,
Right. And this, though, was
movies and TNG. So
this was one of his absolute best. If you listen to the conversations with Spock and Sarek, they're great. Amanda is a straight up whore, though. Look at her.
Whoa. Hold your tongue, sir.
She's like, hey, how you doing, Sarek?
She's channeling a little bit of Daphne going on there.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. What it was with the hand on the hip, and since when was Amanda this curvy? Look at those hips. My goodness.
I know the chick that plays Amanda in Strange New Worlds is pretty hot.
Not this kind of hot. Look at that.
Well, Sarek knew what he was doing.
Spock, I told you that I married your mother because it was the logical thing to do. I just look at her. I mean, come on.
Yeah, exactly.
So then Spock have an interesting conversation about the importance of dealing with emotion. And again, this is some really deep stuff in the lore and talking about what it means to be a Vulcan and the fact that Vulcans have emotions and stuff way before a lot of people realize that that was ever discussed. And in fact, there are lines that are said in this that are then repeated in stuff like Star Trek 2009 and stuff, where line for line they just take the same dialogue.
Super.
$3.33 from Yosef saying it's past 2 a.m. I'm in the future. Time travel is clearly possible. Okay. But not exactly, because you can't go back in time fast enough to actually do something there before it actually happens.
Yeah, this episode, Stan Lee, I didn't even notice because I enjoy it so much.
Right.
Is Uhura even in this episode?
I think we saw her on the bridge, but I don't think she had any lines.
Okay.
But the focus of this episode was obviously Leonard Nimoy. I mean, this was almost all Leonard Nimoy.
Oh yeah.
And whoever this kid was that was young Spock. And so this is the if you've ever heard the story from Journey to Babel, where Spock's mother talks about how Spock had a pet Salat that he was very fond of, this is it.
Mm-hmm.
And it really looks and she described it as a fat teddy bear. Well, yeah. And Spock also said that on Vulcan, the teddy bears had claws and 6-inch fangs, and that also looks accurate. So it looks like a bear with fangs. So there we go.
A definitively tweaked version of Scooby-Doo.
No, I got one better for you. I got a prop so I got one better for you.
You got a prop. Oh, you're going to take out your stupid He-Man thing, aren't you?
We get to the scene,
Whatever. So, Spock, of course, not bothering. Okay, and here, he took off. Okay, I got you here. He did take it off here when he's going to bed. But he takes out his tricorder from the future to record a log. I mean, you're bringing future technology with you just to record for posterity what you're doing.
I did get a kick out of the fact that he's doing a personal log.
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't he, though? He's got to.
Back then, wait till you
get back.
Well, and also, why not say personal log supplemental? He's like, approximately.
Yeah, he said relative date, I think. Is what he said.
Something like that, yeah.
And so little Spock decides that even though the reason that Spock had to save little Spock is that little Spock has a test of manhood coming up, which comes from something that will be referenced later in Enterprise, where all young Vulcans go to what's called the Forge, a very particularly nasty part of the Vulcan desert, where they have to spend, I think they said, a number of days without food, water, or weapon and survive and then come back. And assuming they can do that, they're considered basically a man. And so Spock was attacked by some kind of creature. And so adult Spock intervened and saved him. That's the basic scenario that we know is going to happen. And so, but little Spock is like, you know what? I don't know if I can pass this test. So I'm going to sneak out to the Forge now a week early. And that way I can see if I'm ready for it. And so he decides to go, and Ichaya, the giant teddy bear thing, follows him, and he's like, "No, you can't come with me," even though he is acting like Scooby Doo. He's like, "Whoa, Raggy," and he's like, "Nope, you can't come with me. I don't have any Scooby snacks." And he heads off to the forge. Meanwhile, and then Spock realizes the date, and so Spock goes after him. Then the next day, Amanda and Sarek get up, and they're like, I don't see Spock or Selleck. I don't suppose Selleck could have done something to Spock. and Sarek's like, we should begin a search immediately. And it's like, yeah, maybe you shouldn't have invited a stranger into your house around your 6-year-old.
Look at Twinkle's last comment about Sarek's look here. It's funny.
It's kind of look cashiers give people.
Yeah.
That's pretty spot
on. So here's where, okay, go ahead and take out your toy. This is what
evil battle cat.
Yeah.
So here we go. What you do is you combine the Silac, whatever, Spock's teddy bear with this creature, and you have Battle Cat. I'm telling you. Look at this.
Oh yeah, I totally.
That's what it is. Same animation style. They combine these two creatures, and they even give Battle Cat the old "Gorsh, don't do that,"
Well, he was Cringer, right?
When he was when he's a coward, he's Cringer. Yeah.
So Battle Cat and I have fight.
Yeah. Oh my God! Straight. I bet you they even reused some of the stuff because they did that all the time with Filmation.
Oh,
they had to.
By the way, Spock put his uniform back on here.
Yeah.
Well, he's got his collar on underneath again. Yeah.
So, but Spock nerve pinches the Battle Cat, and apparently that works. And I'm not fat shaming the pet. I like the pet. I would definitely take a Salat. I'd love to have a pet.
I mean, I'm a kitty cat guy, but I would like a big old. I always wanted a Cringer. I don't know about a Salat, but I'd take a Cringer, especially if I could turn him into Battle Cat.
Yeah, but that's stupid because your stupid cat jumps on you and claws you to death every now and then.
He doesn't mean to claw me. Just it's my fault for not.
Stop sounding like an abused wife, okay?
Oh my God.
He doesn't mean to hit me. He only does it because I deserve it. I didn't get his dinner ready in time.
Wow, this went really dark really quick.
I'm just waiting for Danny to say something like that because he said it before. He's only doing what I deserve.
He's not gonna fall for it. Hey, he's learning.
Let it go.
So they decide they need to get some distance between them and the whatever that thing is, the not Battle Cat. However, it turns out that Cringer has been injured, and because apparently these things that they send their 6-year-old Vulcans into their home turf. By the way, keep that in mind. These things have poison claws. And so it stabbed Cringer with one of its poison claws, and it's not doing good. So Spock's like, Cringer's too fat for us to carry him. So what do you want to do? And of course he says, well, logically, if we can't take him to a healer, I should bring a healer to him. And so he decides to run across the desert to get a healer. And Spock's like, the desert is very dangerous. And he's like, no, I can do it. And so he braves by the way, I like this. Spock's like, I can ease your pain. And he actually puts a nerve pinch on Ichaya to knock him unconscious so that he doesn't suffer as much. So So the dangers of the Vulcan Forge are apparently a tentacle plant. Ariel, hope you're paying attention. That makes 2 for 2 tentacle porn in the middle of a Star Trek the Animated Series episode.
This is
Meant for children.
Yes.
Yep.
Look at this right here. You know, there you go. But he breaks the tentacles and gets away.
There we go.
And he continues on his way to the healer, who looks like what apparently like what I'm going to look like in about 20 years from the looks of it. And the healer says, "Oh yeah, you're the one that's known for practical jokes," which is like, really? Spock doesn't seem like the practical joker type.
Yeah, I know. That kind of seemed, it came out of left field, but the dialogue back and forth was written pretty well considering Vulcan dialogue. So
so Spock says, well, you know, was the son of Sarek ever called a liar? And he said no. And he said, well, I'm not lying to you now. Please come with me. So they go out, and the healer determines who he rides a makeup compact. Apparently, the healer determines that Ichai is too far gone, that he can prolong his life, but he will be in pain, and what to do.
Or, you know, you can put him down.
Yeah. So, and this is like one of those things, like, it's like, okay, kids, hope you're watching this, because when you got that dog and your parents have that conversation with you, you can either keep the dog alive, but the dog is going to suffer, or we can give him a quick, painless death, you know? And so Spock makes the logical choice and puts him down. And you can see the look on his face here. Even though it's the crappy Filmation animation, you can still see the look on his face.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, even now I'm tearing up a little bit. It was powerful.
Shit, man. No, yeah.
Really,
just
really well done. Was not expecting that the first time I saw that. And of course I saw it when it first aired, but you know, but even rewatching it, it still hits hard. You know, Spock comes over, puts his hand on little Spock's shoulder to support him. It's, you know, it's a very touching moment, but it's something that, you know, it's basically, it teaches kids about the idea that, you know, you shouldn't make the animals suffer just because you want them around. And then he goes home and he explains exactly what happened. He takes full responsibility for everything. But he also says that he's going to teach the bullies a little demonstration of the Vulcan neck pinch, because Big Spock taught him how to properly do the Vulcan neck pinch. And Spock finally decided to take off his Starfleet uniform. So
yet one more time.
Yeah, so Sarek would not be suspicious. You know, kind of makes me wonder, what was Spock doing in between the time they were out in the desert and he had the uniform on and now?
I don't even know where he stuck it, because his purse is not exactly large.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do believe that's where he's hiding his tricorder.
Yeah.
Yeah, and his satchel. And now he's got his uniform on again.
Yeah, and now he put it on again.
Because they reused the shot from earlier.
You know, it's either people missing half their body or Spock's wearing 2 sets of clothes at random.
Yeah.
No, I think Spock's just like constantly like, what happened was he took off the uniform so he could, you know, like, because Amanda was so hot, and he was like, hey. And then he realized it's his mom, so he puts it back on.
Oh, jeez.
Anyway, so he.
Oh wow, Anthony, check out Anthony Mark's comment. That's an interesting bit of.
Yeah, that's cool. That's some neat trivia. Nice.
Well,
good on them.
And then, so Sarek says, hey, you saved my son's life. I can never repay you. and Spock says, try to understand him, and go easy on him, basically, and that'll be payment enough.
Spock McFly, pretty
And
much.
Sarek's like, that doesn't, that's not logical, but I will honor it. And so then that's like, he's not even hiding his rank.
Yeah.
Okay, so we seriously are going to have to watch for if this asset is used in another episode somewhere.
The robe?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because they recycle everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
and I love how I'm using like a modern computer art term for. Well, they would never have called it that back then.
They're using the wrong hand I think. Or are they? No, I guess that's the right hand. It just looks like it's the wrong hand for some reason.
No, it's correct. I'm sitting here too.
Yeah, but it looks wrong for some reason.
Yeah, it
looks out of it.
Yeah, the thumb is on the inside. If the thumb was on the outside, then we've got questions to ask.
But I guess not. It just looks wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, and see, Ariel thought the same thing.
Yeah. It's because it's derpy the way it is.
It's just it's not the wrong hand. It's just
it's like the Flex Armstrong version of Spock.
Yeah. Anyway, so Spock says that he's like, Sarek's like, oh, I look forward to if we meet again. And he's like, oh, I think not. And then it's like, well, you're a dick, but and so he leaves. And there's that city, which, by the way. Let me talk about this city for a second, because remember, this is 1973 we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
This type of city design was actually something that goes back a long ways, which was a concept for a better design for a metropolis area where you would have a small, condensed metropolis surrounded immediately by a farmland of just enough farmland to sustain that metropolis. And
so this show predicted 15-minute cities?
Yeah, so
to touch a little bit of a political nerve.
Yeah. So just saying, they were not messing around here. So then he comes back through the Guardian. And Kirk says, hey, everything right? And he goes, well, not exactly, because Ichaya did not die in the original in the original timeline. And Spock said, death of a pet, well, that shouldn't make a big difference. And Spock's like, it might to some. Do in the end. There's also one other thing that I do want to point out, which is when Sarek is talking to young Spock here. Young Spock takes a decidedly mature take on this whole thing. And when Sarek asks him directly if he is going to pursue being a human or being a Vulcan moving forward, young Spock says he is going to be a Vulcan. And this is not this is what I was saying, is that this is not a minor change in the character of Spock. I think there is a different timeline here.
We'll share my screen real quick. Because I wanted to show you. So they added that city.
Yeah, you can see the city in the background here.
Yeah, top right.
Way off in the background, yeah.
Which is another way they retroactively made this episode canon.
Yeah.
Which is really cool that they did that, yeah. How come Sarek looks like he's from China? Because in the animated series, they make all the Vulcans look Asian for some reason. I don't know why. But and Thomas, no, I'm not. The thing is, I don't. You hate
not another
timeline theories. But here's the problem: is that in the original timeline, Spock did not commit himself so early in life, and Sarek never would have said that he made a promise to go easy on Spock, especially considering that Sarek and Spock were not on speaking terms for the majority of Spock's adult
Well,
life.
Soft Nude Girl, thank you so much for checking in with us. Please subscribe to the
Yes,
channel.
thanks for hanging
Yeah,
out.
absolutely. Soft nude,
Twice a week.
nude girl.
Yeah.
Nude. So, yeah, we have soft nude girls. We should definitely have more subscribers. We'd be on OnlyFans, I think. But I think that that there's something here. And so I was suggesting earlier when we watched it that maybe this is what spawns the differences we see between TMP and the Wrath of Khan, because things seem to have changed so much.
Oh yeah, man.
And
Yeah,
Spock
no.
is such an integral character to Starfleet. And that's even reinforced by Strange New Worlds, where they talk about Spock being this like central character to the universe.
Yeah.
And so is this episode, does it somehow change the course of Trek a little bit after this? Does it give them a little bit of wiggle room for some, maybe not with TOS or even Strange New Worlds, but maybe this is what creates the TNG timeline. This is why TNG has so many differences from TOS.
I would say you were onto something there because Spock, when we see him again in TMP, he's about to go through with the Kolinar,
right. But
And
Spock in Wrath of Khan is nowhere near as stoic. He is very much. I mean, Spock in Wrath of Khan feels to me like a character
I thought there was growth. Spock cries at the end of TMP, and he rekindles his bond with Kirk and McCoy throughout that movie. So and there's obviously a bit of a passage of time between 1 and 2.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to kick something around. I don't know.
The problem is this episode happens definitively before TMP.
Right, but who's to say which timeline we're watching up to TMP?
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what if we're watching the original timeline in TMP, but we're watching I don't know what you would call it, the Uncle Spock timeline in Wrath of Khan.
I think he called him a cousin, older cousin is what he said.
Yeah.
Or distant cousin.
Yeah, cousin
Uncle
Spock.
with air quotes. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
So,
it's
all right. Well, Jason, we buried our lead.
Yeah. So
you
10 out of
guys
10
are
for
full
both of
love
us.
for this.
Yeah.
So, well, I'll tell you what. I'll give it an 8. Pursuant of watching more of these episodes, and it'll probably get a retroactive upgrade as we go through and see.
Suffice to say, writing wise, you're not going to
obviously.
find anything better. I will.
I don't expect that. I probably will, but
yeah.
It's a very good episode for me. It's an 8. Yeah. Like it's not going to ever have the same kind of punch as it does for you guys because you've seen it, well, either originally or a long time ago and memorably, and then continue to watch it. So it's just not gonna hit the same way. But it's a really good episode for what it all is. So.
Yeah, I think you're right, Ariel. Those tentacles, they bothered him a little. And and then you have the I think Jason is just a jerk. That's all it is. What? Yes, I know you want to be the center of everything.
We shockingly we can kill a little time. I'm wondering, have you guys heard of the Peacock original based on a true story?
What, that's the name of the show?
That's the name of the show, based on a true story.
No.
So they dropped 8 episodes, and apparently that's their season 1, which pissed me off because the 8th episode had a cliffhanger. But the premise is there's a serial killer in Southwest California or something like that, in the LA area, and this couple inadvertently, kind of through becoming his friend and spending time with him and learning, like they figure out that he's a serial killer. And because the wife character is so into true crime podcasts, like she has a wine and crime weekly thing where she goes, because they're like upscale, like he was a former professional tennis player and stuff, but they're down on their luck and they're trying to figure out how to make money so they can kind of stay in their little clique of super rich friends. And so they approach the serial killer with a proposition. We'll turn you in, or you give us exclusive rights to your story and we make a podcast. And then hilarity, drama, a lot of it's one of those shows where there's a lot of like daydreaming things happen. So you think something crazy happens, but then it's like the person was daydreaming kind of thing. So there's a lot of like physical gore comedy, I guess you could say. I don't know, it's kind of dark, but it was I'd be interested to get your guys's take on it.
I can't watch it right now because I dropped Peacock for the time being until
okay. And Canada is not worthy of Peacock, so
no, because well,
you're not.
I just binged. Well, another show I just binged because when I work on websites, I usually do it in like a long, like like a work shift, like usually about 8 hours. So I'll find some, so I binged that whole thing while working on a website. And then a couple days ago, I did Lioness, which is on Paramount Plus, which I know we all have because we're reviewing Lower Decks.
Yes.
Have you guys heard of Lioness?
Yeah.
Yes. And I saw you tweet about you watched a bunch of episodes.
And then I couldn't finish watching it. I had to, because I was done working about 4 hours into watching it, and so I was like, "Do I go to bed now, or do I finish the last 3 episodes?" So I finished the last 3 episodes because, like, why not? Yeah. And man, it was really, really good from so many different points of views. Like, they're two.
That's a military show, right?
Yeah, but it's more to it. Like, so the main character.
I know, but that means it'll probably piss me off.
I don't know, man, because so for example, one beat. There's not spoiling anything. So Zoe Saldana and her husband are kind of the two main characters, and her husband's like a pediatric oncologist. Mm-hmm. So and you follow his shit about just as much, and all the heartache that goes with, like, he knows that, like, so statistically most of his patients are going to die, and that weighs heavy on him, and he has 2 kids, and it shows the struggles. Because of the nature of his work, he's on call all the time. Because of the nature of her work, being in the CIA, she's gone all the time. So so there's a lot of episodes that deal with the effect on the kids, but then there's also your actiony episodes that deal with it's actually really, I liked it a lot.
I'm not saying it's bad. It probably isn't. I mean, don't get me wrong. But I'm a little tired of the trope now where, hey, I got an idea. Let's make the guy have the sensitive, kind, nurturing type job, and the woman is the ass-kicking killer. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying Zoe Saldana can't pull it off, and this guy is not an awesome oncologist.
Well, she's more she's more like in charge. She's not even. I don't even know the chick's name. That's the lioness.
Yeah, but you just said the chick's name. That's the lioness. I'm not interested in watching another show where it's like badass chicks taking people down. I'm not interested.
All right.
No offense. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that the show is woke or whatever. I'm just not.
I thought it was very well.
It's not for me.
Okay, fair enough.
If they want to make a show for me, I'll watch it.
Yeah, there's a friend of mine here who, it doesn't matter if it's super well written. He can no longer suspend belief to have a 125-pound woman taking on 250-pound men who could literally just grab them by one arm and throw them across the room.
That's why there's this one scene where
you're immediately you go into the defense on it, and I get it.
No, I'm not going to. I'm just saying, like, I would just as I'd like you to watch the fights. Like, maybe I could put them together.
It's on It's on Paramount, right?
Yes,
it's on Paramount Plus. They
Yeah.
make it realistic enough, like because she gets her ass beat by dudes. Like she's not doing
But
what you're
that
talking
doesn't.
about.
Here's the
You know.
problem.
Yeah, I'll have to give
Why
it. I'll have to
can't
give
we
it a
have
watch.
a show? Why can't we have a new show? Any new show where there's a dude.
You've got Reacher, you've got Jack Ryan, you've
Okay,
got
a good
there's
show.
plenty of them.
No, Reacher's good.
Oh, there's
okay, fair enough. I haven't seen
the
Reacher.
Terminal List. Terminal List is
Terminal
badass.
List was
I don't care.
awesome.
Terminal List was really.
You've got to watch Terminal List if you
Yeah.
haven't.
It's
on
Terminal List
Amazon
is
Prime.
exactly what you're asking for.
Yeah,
It's-
you would
it-
absolutely
Maybe
love
so.
Terminal
But you
List.
see, but then of course the problem is I'm such a sci-fi nut, and that sci-fi has gone all to the women, and
The Terminal List is pure military. It's not
pure
sci-fi.
military.
right,
It's
which
not
is
sci-fi.
which means it'll probably piss me off, and that's the you see.
Well, if you like sci-fi, have you watched? I think
That's
it's
why.
it's
That's one of the
called,
reasons I gravitate so much towards sci-fi. Is 'cause when
What was the
Yesterday
name
War
of
or something like that, or Tomorrow War with
yeah, I
the
haven't seen
same
Tomorrow
actor?
War yet.
That's
What was
actually
the
really good.
What's the name of the show that you were talking about, Danny? That's on Peacock.
It's the Lioness.
based-
The Lioness.
No, on Peacock is based on a true story.
Oh, based on a true story. That one.
It's
yeah.
got Kelly Kuko in it from Big Bang Theory and Harley Quinn. She's the pregnant
Yeah,
wife.
I'm just trying to see if it was on Crave,
on
which
different
is
servers up there.
Bell Canada, but no.
But the sci-fi, unfortunately, is like, oh, hey, here's an incredibly original idea. Let's have the women in charge. And it's like, okay, yeah, okay, I get it. It's great. Now can we?
Man, stop being such a tool for the patriarchy and just get with the times, man. Why you gotta
Oh, I
be
might
such
be able
old school?
to-
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I might
Yeah,
actually
no,
be able to watch based on a true
You know
story.
what? If I was such a, and I know you're
Dude,
not,
I would
know
like
you're
love
not
your
being
feedback
serious.
on it.
I know you're not being serious about it, but at the same time,
Yeah.
for those people out there that do think that, if I did feel that way, I wouldn't like Strange New Worlds. Because Strange
Yeah.
New Worlds is a
That
female
was-
dominated cast.
That was Gary. Like when I used to do Pop Culture Minefield, man, every single time he saw the bridge of Strange New Worlds, he'd bitch. What's with all these freaking women? Of course, he
Right.
didn't say freaking. you know?
Right. And yeah, if it's not, like I don't sit there and like take a head count of men versus women. But one of the reasons that I stay away from military drama, even though I would love to see a good military drama, but one of the reasons
Terminal List.
one of the reasons I stay away from it is because every time they get into the fun stuff, namely the combat, I'm going to get pissed off without exception every single time, because I understand how that equipment works and I understand how the military uses it, and they're not going to do it accurately.
Yeah, I can watch based on a true story through Prime Video, actually. So yeah.
Okay, oh, there you go.
So I'll give it a go there, Danny. And
Yeah, I'd love
Is
to.
it free on Prime?
mean, he's in
no,
Canada.
up here it's because of the Canada thing. Charity's got an extra slice of added on package on the Prime Video, so we get a few extra streams. We get Stack TV and Global TV, which is a different broadcast network up here that you guys.
But
don't
that's
have
why I'm
here.
kind of stuck watching old shows,
And I'm definitely gonna try on Paramount. I'm gonna give that up, the whatever that's called, the one with Zoe Saldana in it. I'm gonna give that a go.
Lioness,
Because I want to see if it's. I want to see how much it is what Danny says in comparison to what I know you, Mike, and my friend Sean, who'd be just like, you guys just don't have the patience for certain things.
Right.
Just out of curiosity, because
I would love to know your take. Yeah, that's why.
I want to check it out, because it's really funny. There's certain things and
it might be a great show that I would enjoy, but at the same time, Hollywood has kind of just burnt that bridge, and
pirate. What? I ain't no pirate.
Whatever. He's in a.
We know he
So-
is, but
Again,
what's
another
funny
movie-
is that if you
Yeah.
actually do a trace on the Pirate Bay website, it's in Jason's living room.
It's in my basement.
So I
I
watched. another thing
technically do have a
watched-
server rack in the basement. So
Yeah, I've got one. It's not hooked up. It's in the garage. I should probably just sell it.
That's the same
I
story for me.
watched. Yeah, I watched the 2007.
We may
movie
need it if we make a big
Michelle
old
Pfeiffer.
multiplayer game, you know.
Maybe. Called Stardust. Have you guys ever seen? It's an old movie, but it had a 2007. It was the guy that did the director of Kick-Ass and Kingsman, I think it was.
Oh man,
Or-
I absolutely loved that. A lot of people slag on that movie, but I loved.
I liked it a lot. Yeah. Okay.
Never
now I
heard
know.
of it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a crazy cast. Let me go read the cast off.
It's on
Charlie
Amazon Prime, but-
Cox.
Dude,
Charlie
yeah,
Cox. So
he's the main character.
Yeah, like Charlie Cox.
You know who that is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Claire Danes, Sienna Miller, Ian McKellen, Alistair McIntosh, David Kelly. I don't really think Ben Barnes needs to be pointed out. And then you start getting down
the
in
guy
here.
that played,
Henry
like-
Cavill, Nathaniel Parker, Mark Strong,
Yeah, he's
Jason
funny.
Fleming, Peter O'Toole,
Yeah. He's a
and
king.
oh yes, and by the way, Robert De Niro and
Robert
Michelle
De Niro.
Pfeiffer.
Yeah, and Michelle Pfeiffer. But
Yeah,
Robert
what
De
is
Niro's
it about?
hilarious.
It's just this ridiculous fantasy.
It's about three
thing.
witches who want to live forever, and to do it, they have to cut out the heart of a falling star, which in this universe, falling stars are hot chicks.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Claire Danes.
Yeah.
is a
Oh,
hot
it's
chick.
it's 100% ridiculous.
It sounds 100.
But it was really
But-
good. It was good, you know.
But
I
it's
couldn't
it's
believe I
like
liked it.
watching. For me, I would put this in the same general category as watching The Fifth Element, except for me, The Fifth Element is sacrosanct. Like that movie is.
Right.
I'll
Yeah,
buy it
yeah,
on
there's a
every
fly- there's a
version of
flying
media.
boat.
I just
Robert-
wish somebody I just wish there would be good sci-fi again. You know,
Yeah, well, this
don't
is
get me
from
wrong. I
2007.
like
I
Strange New
just-
Worlds, but it's not great sci-fi. And
Well, if you're actually looking for something, and I won't call
don't
it
say The
hard-
Expanse again. I know.
No. Hard science fiction, somewhat. Did you ever watch? I'm going to get the name of the movie wrong.
The one I probably won't remember.
Sun something or other. Sunlight? No.
Daylight.
No,
Night
no,
Light?
not Daylight. That's a Sylvester Stallone movie. isn't it?
Matthew Vaughn. It's
Brightburn?
based on the Stardust was directed by Matthew Vaughn and based on Neil Gaiman's novel. So to give you an idea, because Neil Gaiman, wrote it, and Matthew Vaughn's the guy who did
Montezuma's
he also
Revenge.
did X-Men First Class, which I love that movie. I love X-Men First
It was a
Class.
decent movie. I wouldn't say it was great, but it was a decent movie.
Oh, I loved it, man. It was
Stan Lee
it was like
suggesting Sunshine. Is that the movie?
Yes, Sunshine.
Yes, I have seen Sunshine.
Yeah, that's a
what is? I don't think I have.
And yet, Stanley, I know Bird of Prey loves For All Mankind. I found For All Mankind. I
haven't watched it yet.
I can't get past my suspension of disbelief on that show. It's not a bad show. It's very well made, very well acted. And Ronald D. Moore is a genius. I love him.
Oh wow,
But-
I've never even heard of this. I'm gonna have to watch this movie.
Yeah, Sunshine. It's a very interesting cast of people that's in it too. I mean, Cillian Murphy,
you got a
Chris
few,
Evans, Michelle Yeoh,
Yeah, I was gonna say, you got a
and
few
Mark
Marvel
Strong, of course,
ones.
is in this. And then there's a bunch of other
Yeah.
people that I know by name and face, but aren't as big actors, like Rose Byrne, Cliff Curtis, Hiroki Sanada. They're in quite a lot of stuff as supporting actors and actresses.
Yeah, Hiroki Sanada was the Wolverine. He was in the Wolverine. He became the Silver Samurai. That's the actor that played that.
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah, because we know that was a great movie.
I like.
Actually,
that
I like the
one.
director's cut of that movie a lot.
I know, but the Silver Samurai part was such a disappointment.
Yeah, but
I'm not a comic.
I
book,
like. Here's the problem: is that the Wolverine is based on a 4-part mini.
no, it's loosely based.
I know,
Like,
but if they had just followed the Wolverine comic book, the 4-part Wolverine, and you know the comic book I'm talking about.
yeah, I have the
Frank-
hardcover.
Yeah, the Frank Miller. I have the actual 4-part, not the hardcover whatever edition. I have the original. But if you actually just followed that, it would be a better movie. It would have been a smash hit, and it would have cost less money. You don't.
I love the. I absolutely
that
love
fight.
it.
Imagine though, Wolverine and in that final fight,
and it was Chris Claremont, not Frank Miller. It's Chris Claremont. What you're talking about?
I thought the Wolverine, the original Wolverine 4-parter was a Frank Miller story.
No, it's Chris
Chris
Claremont.
Claremont might have done the art, but I thought
no, Lynn Weed did the art, I believe.
Okay, well maybe I was wrong. But anyway, but remember he fights, and for those of you that don't know, he basically goes to Japan and he fights the woman, the father of Mariko, who he, it was the guy in the movie who wants to be immortal and becomes Silver Samurai. He but in this version, he's a crime lord and he fights him. And
he's like a Yakuza boss or whatever.
Yeah, he's like this massive Yakuza guy. And the guy pulls out a wooden sword and fights Wolverine and beats him within an inch of his life despite his healing factor. Wolverine.
You've got to watch the director's cut though, man. It's so bad.
I have seen the director's cut. I have all the X-Men movies, and all the X-Men movies are crap. All right. They are all crap. Why do I say that? Because I love the X-Men. Don't get me started about the freaking X-Men.
Hey, we got 15 minutes to talk. Why not? Because I first
every X-Men really movie sucks.
X-Men First Class is really good. I actually liked
X-Men First Class isn't even about the first class of the X-Men.
Dude, you know what they managed to do?
And you know full well who the first class of the X-Men
I know,
were.
but
and they're even mentioned in the first X-Men movie. It's a complete retcon of the first X-Men movie.
I can't get a word out edgewise. It was
a
different universe or whatever.
Go ahead. It's not a different universe.
Let him go ahead. Let him go ahead.
I now I don't even. Oh, okay. Now I remember. So X-Men First Class did what George Lucas wanted to do, tried to do, and what that is you told a like a really good younger older brother story that ended in heartbreak. Right. Like the end of that movie, to me, what makes that movie so good is the relationship between Professor X and Magneto. It's oh my god, it's my favorite.
That's the only thing that movie had going for it.
So good at it. Like it's like.
But the problem is that this is my problem with the movie. If you have something really good in a crappy movie, it's still a crappy movie. And that's what you have with X-Men First Class.
I loved it. I thought it was good. The way they
and the thing is, you have Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen, or not Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen. But you have Michael Fassbender and James McAvoy, and they both did magnificent. And which nobody thought that they could because they were following up from Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen, and yet they did it. And they also had the backbone, though, of Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen's relationship to build on. We knew their relationship going into that movie.
Yeah, but it was but we didn't know. Like, I mean, he's the reason Professor X is paralyzed and in the wheelchair. I mean, that's just that's some Shakespeare shit, dude. What are you talking about? So good. I don't know.
I really that's all it is. It's just them. Oh, the actual X-Men.
I love the whole part where he's helping him through his pain and anger. I can hear the score in my. I actually love that score. It's one of the scores.
Great, but you know what? The X-Men are irrelevant in a movie called X-Men. If the movie was called what it was originally going to be called, I might have given it a pass.
What?
Oh, it was going to be what?
Origins? It was going to be called X-Men Origins Magneto. That was the original title.
Okay,
which makes sense because
it's
his.
But
story.
They changed the title because of the disaster that was X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Yeah,
because the Wolverine, that film was going to be the beginning of an entire franchise of X-Men Origin films.
And I actually agree with you. I think it would have served the movie better to have that title.
Yeah, because if they had made it clear at the beginning that the main character of the film was Magneto and not the X-Men.
Yeah.
fine. But if I'm going into an X-Men movie and it's, that's like when I went to see
Damn, I'm putting it on my TV. That's what I'm watching after.
You go ahead, but you know what? When
I love it movie so
you know
much.
what I'm not going to put on my TV? Mad Max Fury Road. You know why? Because it's not.
I hate that movie.
Do you know why? It's not a freaking Mad Max movie.
It's not.
And you know what? X-Men First Class is not an X-Men movie.
Okay, again, we can agree.
It's a bromance.
I'll agree with you on the Fury Road thing.
But X-Men First Class is not an X-Men movie. It's a bromance. That's all it is. It's not a bad bromance. It could be better, but it's not bad. But that's all it really is. It should be the origin of the X-Men. But instead, and it's just that, hey, let's do this big movie about Magneto, and the X-Men also are formed.
I am seriously having one of those. I'm glad I never read the comics moments right now.
Oh man,
yeah, you should. You should.
And,
it does make it better.
Talk about you be so glad you never read Days of Future Past, because you would be angry at that movie.
But they did that because of how
they did it, because they crapped on it. That's what they did.
No. Was easily the most popular character of the movie franchise, so they had.
It doesn't matter who the most popular character is. What matters is what serves the story.
And that's why comics don't always translate to movies well, because
that's why Ronald D. Moore is a freaking genius.
Yes,
and why Bryan Singer is a hack in comparison.
Did he write those movies?
I'm not a Bryan Singer fan at all. I'm talking about the Matthew Vaughn.
Did he write those movies?
He had
he was the director.
He was the producer of the First Class.
But in comparison, and don't get me wrong, I'm not calling Bryan Singer a hack. Please don't think that. I'm saying
he's a perv and a.
He's a lot of things, but
but I mean, he is. If you compare a Ronald D. Moore who will kill off a popular character, not because he wants to, but because it serves the story, that's how you write. Okay.
Oh, I don't
Wolverine
disagree.
back in time because he's popular.
I don't disagree.
I mean, I liked it a lot. I'm sorry.
And by the way, who was the most popular character in the comic books when Days of Future Past came back? Because it wasn't Sprite. I'll tell you that. It was Wolverine. Mic drop.
Well, see, I don't have the context, so I don't know. But I will say this. If you sacrifice story purely for spectacle, that's always going to be a problem with the long-term viability of a franchise. However, because our wonderful Aussie actor friend is so dang good at portraying that character.
But he's not. That's the worst part.
In the way that people that actually are paying the money care.
Right. Because, they never created that character.
So he is super marketable. That's why he's back again, except this time in a tag team duo with.
I think we're going to see. Honestly, here's my prediction. I think we're going to see every Fox character ever in that.
Oh yeah.
I think we're going to get. And I was talking to my daughter about this. And if they do this, my daughter is going to jump out of her skin with joy. We're going to see the movie equivalent of Deadpool kills the Marvel universe. It's going to be Deadpool kills the Fox universe.
Yes, that's exactly what we're going to get.
Yeah. Hey, Andy, how you doing? I think Deadpool is going to wipe out the Fox universe out of existence, and then he's going to join the MCU.
Yeah, and it's a pretty clever way to integrate the two, kinda. You know what I mean?
But yeah. So in the comic book, and by the way,
that's funny. Look at the last thing. So I told you I was going to pull up X-Men First Class. So the last thing I have on here, because it tells you your most recent things that are watched, the Wolverine unrated version, and then before that I watched the Superman movie extended cut, and then you're going to give me such grief. Then Suicide Squad extended cut, and then Venom extended cut, Spider-Man Far From Home. Yeah, so it's this is my go-to for my movies anywhere.
Look, I love.
I like Venom. Venom was fun.
I like Venom.
Venom was a good dark superhero movie. I enjoyed it. I love superhero movies overall, but I just the X-Men movies are the absolute rock gutter bottom crap dirt of the superhero.
Logan was so good. I forgot I had Logan.
Logan is a piss poor insult to the entire franchise.
God, what is wrong with you?
You're fired.
Yeah.
Oh man, here's the problem, and I know it's you say you're glad you never read the comic books. That's the problem, is that you have imagine if they said, oh, we're doing a new Star Trek movie, and we're bringing back Captain Kirk, and you're like all excited, and Captain Kirk is now, he hates the Federation and he's a racist and he thinks that everybody.
Is this true? Is this statement true by Ariel? Because if it is,
it's all to the 1993. No.
Okay. I was about to say.
I don't know where that came from. But it was basically just, or think about Luke Skywalker from The Last Jedi. There's a perfect example. Like, if you saw that in isolation, if you never knew anything about Luke Skywalker, you might say, what's these people's problem? Right? But the reason you hate that movie isn't because it's a bad movie. The reason you hate it is because of what they did to Luke Skywalker. My problem with Logan isn't that Logan itself is badly directed or badly acted, or it's very well made. However, Professor X is the beacon of light in that entire universe. He is the person who believes that humanity and mutant kind can live together in peace. He is the person who would never, ever drop an F-bomb. Until now.
He's also like 90 years old. He's got like some kind of super form,
and
he killed everybody on accident. See, what they did was
he killed everybody by accident. That makes it better.
Because remember, if you remember the comic Old Man Logan,
I didn't read Old Man Logan because you know what? That's when comic books started going to crap, and that's why I stopped reading comic books.
Okay, so let me explain.
No, I don't want to hear about Old Man Logan. I don't want to hear about some crap comic book, because you know what? There's a reason the comic book industry is dead now. And it's comic books like that.
So for all of your absolute dislike of that movie, you understand it's actually one of the most loved superhero movies of all time.
Oh, I'm an idiot. I forgot we started late.
Oh my goodness,
so we're actually going overtime, and I don't want to listen to an old man shout at the clouds anymore. If I had the ability to just end this stream, I would have ended it. Interrupted.
Well, too bad, because you can't.
I can't.
Well, you know what? There's more than two that